Hey, sit back, relax, enjoy the Lowest Caste podcast. What a week it's been. Mm, mm, mm. Where to start? Okay, everyone has heard about it. I don't know, did you think it? GameStop. GME. 713.5? Anyone? Anyone? Did anyone think that? Of course, those numbers would be there, right? Now, 7 times 5 is 35, 13 times 5 is 65, 35 and 65 is 100. Read it backwards, if the 0's a 1, it's 110. Maybe the 5 disappears into the dots and lines to unite the 7 with the 13, which is kind of like a circle 3 or a 7-4 split with your God particle. Okay? To short a stock 140%, which is what the hedge funds did, is once again showing us a level of unprecedented corruption with the free market and the systems used for capitalism, used to govern the mental, you know. And it's like a game where only the big boys are allowed to play, you know. You can't have a seat at the table unless you're a big boy, and if you know the rules and how to circumvent the rules, which is basically what the stock market is. It's like Silicon Valley, everyone poo-poos on them, but they actually produce something. Stock market people get rich, and nothing's produced. They're a bunch of ass clown. That industry should not exist, but it does. Talking about stock markets, okay, sure, GME and all that shit, and they got the big short kind of happened to them. They got squeezed by the little guy, cool. You know? A lot of, I don't know, stupid investors got wealthy. Right now, it seems like if you stayed with it, because like when the squeeze happens and they paid back their borrowed shares like they had to, the day after, like that whole movement is over. And to stay with that $2 stock is just going to be a learning lesson for a lot of retarded investors. But, you know, new investors. Robinhood CEO, like all the platforms, like limiting like purchases at all and the number of shares you can purchase and changing and updating it in real time throughout the day to become less and less and less, just so the hedge funds would lose less and less and less, is egregiously corrupt. Like, you know, everyone says jail time is needed, but like, come on, we're all like, who wants to be paid to sit there and like, you know, take care of these incarcerated idiots and assholes? Like, just saying, the French Revolution happened because they didn't have sugar in their cupboards, people. The quality of life was down. That's how addictive sugar is. So, without their sugar, they revolted and rose up and started taking fucking heads. But, no, it's cool in this time of day. You get caught. You know, Flint, Michigan governor poisoned all those people with the lead and shit and stuff. Dominated the news for like, what, 12 years, 15 years ago? He got fined $1,000. If I walk outside after hours and I don't have a reason to be there, I can get fined up to $6,000, depending on how much I verbally abuse the officer in question who's harassing me for being outside. Yeah, right now, Quebec and Ontario are in like... Quebec has a curfew, but Ontario has a lockdown. Totally different, right? If America had any of this right now, you guys would be losing your fucking shit. Well, I live in the land of Storyland, so we're all cool with it. You know? We're used to having the big foot on our chest squeezing down, and, you know, we're just like, thank you, sir, for oppressing me. May I have another? Because it's Ottawa. It's like, sorry for allowing you to oppress me, corrupt asshole. Okay, where else are we? Okay, Governor General got canned because she's a giant hoe beast. Hoe bag, I don't know. Wow, like raving lunatic, apparently. Oh yeah, speaking of stocks, Nancy Pelosi able to buy like up to $1 million of shares of Tesla, who makes electric vehicles, right before she announces that Biden's electric vehicle plan. And then the stock soars right after, and she made a lot of money for her family. How? That is the definition. It should be this case example in the dictionary of corruption or conflict of interest. Nancy Pelosi and what happened. She's the Speaker of the House. Yeah, a lot of people can buy stock whenever the fuck they want. You're the Speaker of the House. It's kind of like a little bit of inside information, maybe. If you are working in a position in government for the people, you should have no connections to anything like that. You should be even working pro bono here, people. Because we want people who care, not people who care about themselves and their family and what they're eating for lunch tomorrow. It's been a week. Joe Biden comes in, signs 47 executive orders. The 4-7, eh? Maybe the circle 3, 7 backwards? 7 of 13, 4th, 7, God. Yeah. 47. Yeah, one of those 47 is to reintroduce and allow those transgender people back into America's armed forces. Okay, that's fucking important. That's 1/47th of the important shit he had to fucking do. And all I'm seeing on YouTube and all these people raving about this democratic new governing body of the United States of America. Wow. All the late night comedians, Saturday Night Live didn't even touch Biden. They didn't even have one Biden skit on SNL. Seth Meyers won't touch poo-pooing on Biden. He cannot do no wrong. The Joe Biden's arms of love stretch out long and hard, people. To see the change in the coverage from across the board, all the media outlets, like the popular ones, has been so blatantly obvious that the narrative is changing, and it just sickens me. Even the narrative changing on whatever the Wall Street bets fucking, I don't even know what a Reddit is, but you know, it's a website, I guess. Anyway, yeah, hearing that they used to have like under 1 million, now it's like 9 million users, and it's not the same place that it was. It's just a bunch of retarded people spamming with no idea of the original message on how you have to use your brains. It was kind of cool. They used their brains to find out the dates where they have to pay back on their shorts. And I don't know how you find that data, but if you could find now the big shorts and then have enough people to throw, like, what was it? Like, I heard that the hedge funds lost $70 billion in that one go. But throughout all of COVID, the world, or maybe even North America, I don't know, the little people like us, we have lost 70 billion in savings because everyone's been taking out their stocks, taking out their savings just to fucking survive over this pandemic we have. So we lost 70 billion in like, you know, a year, and they lost 70 billion in like a day or two. And I don't know. Seems like we're all even Stevens now. Yeah, Biden comes in. First thing he does is take everyone from Iraq back into Syria, send them straight to the oil fields. Conflict resources, people. What do you think war is? War backwards is raw, because of raw materials that you take from conflict. They're conflict minerals. Okay? That's why there's gigafactories for Tesla. Where do you think he gets the lithium in order to make the batteries required for these electric vehicles? I googled, where does the lithium come from? And even Google is being skewed because I know it's Afghanistan. And it doesn't even appear in any of the lists on any of the websites. It's like Chile, it's Australia, even America and Canada apparently. But no man, China of course, but no mention of Afghanistan. They touch, right? They'd rather just say it's China, not Afghanistan. Who knows, sooner or later. But so my theory about the Canadian pipeline that was going to the States, because, you know, I guess the States uses more fossil fuels than they create. That's why they have to go outside of the U.S. to import fuel or fossil fuels. That's just my assumption on this. So I guess what I thought Canada thought was going to happen, or you know, the prairie provinces of Canada thought were going to happen, was that they were going to become the monopoly of sending these fossil fuels to America using a pipeline. And in that pipeline, they have to interfere with all those reserves and shit, like a couple years ago, and like New Mexico and all that. Like, that was grotesque, horrible shit. And, you know, okay, great, it's going to create a lot of jobs. Temporary jobs. It's going to create a lot of careers. Temporary careers. You got the fucking minister of Alberta crying his little eyes out because he's not going to make a big fat paycheck to make a bunch of buddies, a bunch of fucking fat paychecks, temporarily. And the result of his work and trials and tribulations is going to just be, a more efficient, faster route to polluting the earth. And I thought we're all part of the Paris Accord and we're trying to reduce fossil fuels. But I guess if you need them, you need them, and where you get them from is arbitrary. So, conflict minerals now. How much do they cost? Because they'd have to pay Canada for these fossil fuels. I don't know if they had to pay anything for the fossil fuels over, in the fucking oil fields, Syria, and all that shit. Okay? Raw materials, people. War. Apparently, Alberta Premier even was saying, want to go to war with America over this? Wow. That guy needs his head checked. So, okay, we got the stocks. We got the new election stuff and the Biden stuff, or the news, whatever. That they totally went flaccid on the new regime guy. It's hilarious. Lowest caste podcast. Wake up to it. Everything is super corrupt all the time and always. Just the way it is. Sure, this stuff is known, okay? It's basic. I'm positive that Washington, D.C., that they want to make the 51st state to change the amount of collegial seats, I guess, for the elections, so that it'd be easier for it to always be Democratic wins, I guess. They have another, because they're trying to gerrymander everything all the time, okay? The lines of division, the invisible lines of division to segregate you, because they're getting really good at gerrymandering, and need to have the 51st state apparently, but whatever. Washington D.C., I'm sure that architecture of that city, which is basically this probably, and pentagrams and everything. So the trapped 144,000. Okay, if you look at the interior angles of the pentagram, you have 36 degrees as one of the tips of the pentagram. Okay, which means that the interior angle of the triangle being made from the pentagram would be 72, 72, 36. So 180, I believe. And if you go, 5-pointed on a pentagram for you have a pentagon with the star things hanging off, the triangles hanging off, which is the pentagram. But if you go from the center of the pentagram to any two nodes of that pentagram, which make up these triangles, from the center to any two nodes is 144 degrees. And I couldn't help thinking that the trapped 144 again. Okay? 5, I think, interleaving pentagrams are needed to create the great stellated dodecahedron, which contains an icosahedron. And if you look at the inside of the pentagram, pentagon, pentagram, pentagon, pentagram, pentagon, it's literally stellating itself, people. It's one of those shapes and has the math for the angles to stellate itself, which means it's kind of like a Mandelbrot set, where you pick a point in space and you go into the plane infinitely, or however many times they say these videos on YouTube. And at the end of all those iterations, the final thing you show up with was the thing you started with, which is a stellation. It's a feedback loop. Okay? I googled voltage using magnets. Literally just Google voltage using magnets, and I found, after all the video links, the third link is EIA.gov. It's basically Energy Explained Magnets and Electronics by the government, the U.S. government. Independent Statistics and Analysis, U.S. Energy Information Administration. Magnetic fields can be used to make electricity. I just, they're all talking about the Green New Deal, okay? Yeah, here's another thing. The Green New Deal. We have to talk about finding energy other ways. So we're all, I heard Canada is going to be investing heavily into wind turbines. And then there's this Green New Deal, which basically means burning trees, I guess. To make room to have these wind turbines, probably. And low-income housing beneath them. Why not? Let's say green energy has all, like, green energy is the middle circle, and they have all these little branches to all these different disciplinary fields of study into different ways to have green energy. Let's just make another dot with a line for this. Like, let's just see how far we can take it. Let's see how far we can apply basic principles in a balanced equation using a frame of reference based on creation code as we try to create energy. Like, let's just fucking start with that. You and I aren't going to change the world. It's going to be a cumulative effort. And I don't know. I always want to say government's going to do this, but you can't govern the mental if you give them energy. You won't have a monopoly on energy. You can't hold it from them. Everyone wants it and everyone needs it. Give it away now. It's so depressing. Anyway, what also is depressing, I did laundry, but then didn't have enough money on my card to do the drying, so I had to go fill up my card. And then, like, the machine's down, so I'm like, I got wet clothes I gotta figure out, so greatly depressing. The Great Depression. A lot of different people can put 19,290 magnets together in a solution to try to, we make really cool stuff, like all the time. I don't know, it's not hard. If you rotate a bunch of wheels around some solenoids and put some magnets on that rotating part, see what happens. It's kind of a tried and true thing, but the lowest caste isn't allowed to know that, which is you and me. So, never mind. I don't know, it's just all over the place. I don't know, wait, like, what did I do last time? I was doing all the, mathematically, what is heaven? Mathematically, what is earth? Let's Jacob Tutu it, to take two of both. What are you left with? Oh yeah, the word heaven and the word earth. Look at those. Look at that. Let the first be the last number. Let heaven, in the beginning God created heaven and earth. Says it all. Let the first be the last. Kinda cool. I didn't know that was a Jesus quote, but I had to look it up, and sure, of course, Big JC was all about the first being the last. It's all a bunch of gags, okay? Anything that is a quote is basically a mathematical gag. And once you see that, you will understand the reckoning. The reckoner. Because everything kind of points towards this frame of reference or point of view. And the only thing I've ever remembered from my physics classes is keep track of your units. And yeah, keep track of your units means you have to keep track of your frame of reference. It's just... I don't know, there's probably other things I want to talk about. But I think that's good enough. I don't know why you people are here. Okay, I don't know what people watch me. If you're all star seeds, and if you're all looking for a higher esoteric principle of life that makes you feel good inside, sure. But you all know it's about them. What's called sacred geometry. Everyone's cool with that. There are sacred geometry gurus out there. Up the yin yang. You got numerology people at the asshole. You got tarot card people. Oh yeah, you got these people that talk to the divine creator, see signs. Sure, all these people exist. Great. What does it all mean? A bunch of math. It's an evolving, understanding of shapes, let's just put it that way. I want to create a mechanical device in order to create physical work. No. I want to apply physical work to create power. Right. That's what I want to do. I'm going to create a device to apply physical work to create power. Slow and steady wins the race. Eventually you don't have to apply the work, apparently, in my brain. Feedback loop. Feedback loop. balance, symmetry. Yes, there's friction. Okay? Yes, there's friction. But enough work applied, you'll overcome the friction. Enough work applied, it'll have enough RPMs, let's say. I don't know. But, I don't know. It's better than the ideas that I'm not hearing from everyone else, or the ideas we already have. What's the word? I'm the idea guy. Ingenuity. You gotta be crazy enough to think outside the box to create the box. You gotta be looking at the box and understanding in your brain what it would take to create it. So yeah. It's in your language. Okay? 3858's a lot of things to do with words, man. I don't know what else to say. I don't know, like I don't like talking about the same shit over and over again, and I don't like going back. Once I do it, I'm done. Like there's so many like little like if I'm going from a segment from A to B in a straight line, I'm taking a lot of tangents, tangential geometry. I was talking about that the other day. I was looking at tangents. Anyways, oh, tangent. Yeah, I found a lot of stuff. I don't want to go back and look at it all. That's why I made videos of it. Poorly organized and grouped videos. I wonder if I can get like admins on my channel that could have access to YouTube to chronologicalize them. Or add tags. I don't know. I don't care. They all suck anyways. I wouldn't watch them. Well, anyway. It's an interesting conundrum of what to do. What's eating Gilbert Grape? Yeah. A little bit of this and that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel like doing more of these unless I have like math things, and I can't just come up with math things. Like I was pissed off that I couldn't think of something for that live stream, and then I was like, all of a sudden I know her. Let's just look at the letters and numbers and see what happens, and voila. It's all math gags. It's dark comedy. It's what's it called? What's that? I think Shakespeare has a comedy, isn't it? I don't know. I don't want to think anymore today. I've exceeded my quote for thinking capacity today. I have to now tackle a different problem, which will be how to dry my laundry without... I don't know, I'll probably screw some like wire into the walls and go across the room. Just hang it all and leave it be there. But I'm just trying to think of what I've done. Yeah. I don't know, Ramanujan's number is like the coolest thing ever. I think it has a big thing to play in all this. The stairway, because the Freemason has a stairwell thing, very like a pyramid structure and all their things they do. So the stairway, and finding the stairway, I thought was very significant. The communication you and I have, and the fiber optic infrastructure that's around us, which has a core and a cladding. I thought that was pretty interesting, and looking at a bunch of 69s, I don't know what I've been doing lately. Well, I don't like doing it, and I don't want to do it anymore. I don't know what to do with myself anymore. Watch the world. Watch the world. I don't know. It sucks without an Andy. Well, the dead space would be filled with conjecture. Anyway, I'm looking at the right side of the reckoner a lot more these days, which is neat. I didn't do anything new, that's the whole thing. I just realized I've had this forever, and the first page of the Bible's pretty old. It's like the oldest thing, which is kind of in English, which is kind of why I'm using it. And it's been there in my face the whole time. I know what the letters mean numerically the whole time. And put it together. It's not a hard thing I did. It's just a different way of looking at it. It's nothing like, big. It's just, again, a synchronicity, a coincidence, whatever it is. I don't know what to think. Not allowed to work. Not allowed to work like more hours than I have been, because apparently like fat people and old people with shitty health and old people, and I'm not allowed to do stuff. Cool. In the meantime, all those slaves sitting at home got a little internet thing going, and look what they can do. Cool. I don't know what would happen if you... I don't know. Make a lot of money in the stock market. It seems stupid. It seems like people were making like, what, 300% some days? Like, whatever they put in, out? Imagine that. Wouldn't change a thing. Wouldn't change a thing. If I had all that money, I'd give it away. Literally. I'd use all of it to give away, probably. Because I don't care. I'm happy where I am. With what I'm doing. And what I have. The roof over my head. These days there's not a lot to do. Occupy my time with my mind. I like to know my enemy and what they're doing. I like to know what's going on in the world. I want to know what's going to suppress me next. Or I want to know when they botched the job suppressing us. Or maybe it was calculated. I don't know. But can't trust anyone these days. Pretty random. Point of view. This is my point of view. My free speech, I guess. I don't know how long this is. I've been rambling. Okay, this sucks. I'm done.